Hey guys, what's up? It's iFlynn here, and welcome to episode 7 of my Warframe Beginners Guide for 2024 and 2025. The first thing we're going to do in today's episode is rank up to Mastery Rank 7. So the Master Rank 7 test is literally just the Master Rank 1, 2, and 3 tests with higher level enemies, and you're allowed to use all of your equipment. So you know what that means, just go ahead and keep throwing the Zorus until the mission's complete. So after I've completed the MR7 test, I'm coming down to my foundry and I'm going to go ahead and pick up that personal quarters segment like so. And that's going to enable us to go into this back room in our ship if you haven't been here before. And you want to go ahead and touch this blue floating ball right here. Now in this mission, just go ahead and follow the blue ball, like walk into it and follow the blue line. And then walk into the ball again once it stops. Now jump down the hole like so. And after you've done that mini quest, you're going to have access to the sacrifice quest. We're going to go ahead and we're going to do that now. Just come over to your codex and just go ahead, press on the sacrifice and press begin. This is also quite a heavy story quest, so if you don't want any spoilers, go ahead and skip the sacrifice part. You want to come over and examine the Lotus's helmet. Now you don't have to do this as the operator. For some reason I just spawned in my little guy. So in the first mission of the sacrifice quest, you want to go ahead and just come up to this door, break the vines on it, and we just want to stay here and defend. You're going to be playing against ghoul enemies. Now you might have come across these guys in the Plains of Eidolon very briefly while doing your bounties. They can be a tiny bit annoying, but nothing that the Zorus can't handle. Eventually you're going to get to this tree and the game's going to ask you to scan the area. So just bring out a codex scanner and go ahead and scan this sword right here. And then what you can do is you can just go ahead and aim down sights with the scanner, and what you'll see is that the things that you need to scan, they're just going to glow orange. So we can stand here and scan that scarf that's all the way over there. In the distance we can see another part that's just laying on the ground. So just walk up to this golden thing, scan that. And then from this golden thing, if you just turn around, aim down sights with the scanner, you can see this final part, which is a Warframe helmet, which is just in the floor. Scan that and you're pretty much done. So if you head down to your foundry after that quest, or after that mission, sorry, you're going to see that we have a blueprint for Excalibur Umbra. Don't worry, we don't need to farm a boss or a bunch of resources to craft him. We're going to get him for free for completing the quest. And unfortunately, to those of you who picked Excalibur at the start of the game, Excalibur Umbra really isn't that much different. So you're basically getting the exact same Warframe. But for those of you who picked Mag or Vault, well, you're getting a free Excalibur. In the next mission, you're going to come up to this hacking puzzle right here. So just go ahead, press disable security, and you're going to look at this like, what the heck do I do? Just go ahead and come out of the console, and what we're going to do is we're going to look for these symbols on the wall. So that's the first pair, and the second pair is actually just to the right of the console. Now, if we come back into this little thing, we can see that the symbols are basically above, you know, the things that we can change. So we see like this little cyclone thing. And then on the right here, we can see that we have two different symbols. So just come to the furthest away circle thing that you got to change and just go ahead and input one of those symbols. And as you can see, that just completed it for us. You're going to come to another one of these consoles, so just go ahead, interact with it, and then back out of it again, and it's going to prompt you to go find the symbols on the walls. So just follow the yellow markers and just run around the big circle. You'll eventually find the symbols that you need. So now you want to come back to the console after you found all 4 of the pairs of symbols and interact, and as you can see, there's a lot more symbols this time. So just go ahead and match the first 2, like so, and it's going to blink like that. Then I would go ahead and match these 2 to these 2. And that registers those 2 as well. They blink blue for me. And then just go ahead and input, I think, like this. This little puzzle doesn't really make that much sense to me. I just keep on matching the symbols with the symbols that are shown. So right now I've got like the S and the fire above. So I'm just going to go ahead and input the S and also the fire. And that matches them. And it sets them all like that. So now I'm just going to go ahead and copy exactly as it shows. So it shows the S symbol, it shows the fire symbol, it shows this little thing, it shows this, and then it shows that little like ace, I guess. And then once I just copied that, it just completed it, and it's done. So if you like spend too long on that, Ortis is going to end up doing it for you anyway, so don't worry too much about it. Sometimes I'm able to get it like straight away, but right now my brain is just switched off, so I just totally forget how to do it. So you're gonna get to this bit where it asks you to search the lab. Off to the left of the room, there is this little thing here. Just go ahead and examine it, and then click on whichever symbol flashes blue. And once you've interacted with that thing, you can just go ahead and sprint to the exit. You want to come to your foundry, and you want to go ahead and craft Excal Umbra, implying you've got enough credits. I'm actually kind of dangerously low here, so yeah. Go ahead and claim the guy. And now you want to go ahead and equip him. I swear nothing's going to happen. Eventually, after all of the dialogue, Umbra is going to go on a massacre, killing every single Grineer in sight. And what we got to do is we got to come in here and we got to stun him with our Void Sling. But my Umbra's been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed, and he is just a parkour god. Go ahead, stun him, and then just go ahead and press 5. Now you get to play Comey. If you're into that, you don't have to win here. You can just place the little pebbles wherever and like just totally lose if you want to. In this mission, Umbra's went on a corpus killing spree, and it's time for us to put a stop to that. Okay, so what we have to do here is we have to kill some mimic enemies. Now, the mimic enemies are pretending to be objects around the room. So, for example, there's an Argon crystal thingy, but silly Warframe, Argon crystals don't spawn here. That can't be a real Argon crystal thingy. That's a mimic. Oh no. So you just run around the red circle and look for things that look out of place. And that's probably mimics that you gotta kill. You can see that I've just accidentally found a few, so I can't show you, like, you know, where they are. But, you know, hopefully me showing you these 3 helps out a little bit. Eventually, you're gonna be put into a room with Mr. Umbra here. And if you're dealing no damage here, what that means is that you skipped an episode of this guide. Because I will know that you don't have the Moat Amp equipped. And if you don't have the Moat Amp equipped, that means you're not going to deal any damage to Umbra's shields. If you don't have the Amp on, you're just not going to damage him. Like, it's just plain and simple. We just gotta run back and forth, wait for our energy to regen, and just, you know, hold left click on Umbra until his shields are fully gone. It doesn't matter if you die in your operator form, by the way, like, you'll just be sent back into your Warframe. And yeah, he is kinda just a bitch to take down because he just keeps on slash dashing towards you and, like, blinding you and knocking you down and doing a finisher on you. So, yeah, he's kinda rude. Then eventually you can just go ahead and dash through him and then enter him again, and that's that. Now we have to tickle Umbra again, but this time on Lua. He's gonna run away from us this time for some reason, even though he could literally like murder us in like one sword swing. You gotta keep on tickling him. But they've reduced the amount of damage that he does this time, so just keep on void slinging away from him so he has to like jump over to you. He's got to do this like Superman jump, and then you can just shoot at him when he's doing the Superman jump. Here he goes. Whee! Come on, Umbra. Do your super jump, bro. They removed that ability from the game years ago, bro. Oh, he's not going to do it. He's just going to slash dash. He knows that I'm mocking him now. That's the problem. Super jump. Please. No. No! He slash dashed me. Same story, just go ahead and sling through him, then enter into him. And now, you get what should be a really cool cutscene, but it's really buggy, because your Umbra is standing in front of the cutscene Umbra, like that. So, yeah, it's hilarious. Okay, so now you get to play as Excal Umbra. Oh, this game is so broken. So you might notice that one of your abilities is different. Radial Blind turns into Radial Howl. And that just means that it's able to strip the resistances of the sentient enemies that the game spawns in. So you see these guys, like as you like attack them, they're gonna build up resistances, right? So you can see beside the armor shield there, you see the slash thing, means that he's resistant. You go ahead, you press 2, and the resistance is gone. But yeah, congratulations, now you've got an Excal Umbra to play as. The next mission has you make your way back to this area. And as you can see, the blue man is standing right there beneath the tree. And all we have to do is kill the sentients that are basically protecting him. And just like that, you've completed the sacrifice quest. Now you gotta head back into the personal quarters and interact with the Lotus helmet. You're gonna get put into this mission where you gotta fight these like zombie looking Lotus people. Then you're jumping back down this hole again. and into this portal. And now we're playing a stealth mission where we gotta like jump from location to location. And as you can see, the blue man is down there. Now we're just stalking the blue man right now, and somehow he's like grown mutated legs or something. And you just don't want this guy to look at you. So just watch him like walk about, and he's gonna build a sword. There's the tip of the blade, I guess. He's really slow at doing this. Like, he's definitely not making a living off of building this sword, by the way. Like, his production is way too slow. Like, I know it feels sped up because you're watching the video and I've got to edit it, but like, it took him a very long time to put down that second part. Whenever he goes to walk towards you, just go ahead and void sling somewhere else. So now you can dash through and take the sword away from him. So after you've completed that, if you come to your foundry and you type in PARACESIS, you can see that we can eventually go and get the parts to build this thing. And this is what we need to spend our Galatine on. So we're going to go and we're going to get these Orokin Ducats and the Eidolon Shards eventually so we can craft this thing and get rid of the Galatine. But now, after the sacrifice quest, you can come in here and press this. It's called Prelude to War. Just go ahead and click into this. And you can go ahead and click into Era. Once you've pressed that, it's going to bring you back down to the personal quarters again. Interact with the helmet again. This is going to turn into stealth mode again. You just got to float around and sling around and just watch what's happening. Some kinky shit going on over there. After completing this prologue quest, we're going to get a blueprint for the Shidu. We don't really have to care about this thing, but if we want to craft it, we can. And now if you come back to your codex again and press on Prelude to War again, and you press on the Maker, you're going to get another cutscene that you got to watch. And after you watch the final cutscene, you're pretty much done. You just got to make sure that the 3 of these say completed. And then, in theory, you should be able to start the new war. But guess what? You can't. Because you got to get a Necramech. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? We must fish and we must mine. So if you come down to your foundry here and you go ahead and you type in Necramech, and as you can see, we got to get spinal core section. Now we've already done that before. We got to get an additional 12. So here's a cool trick. If you go ahead and you set your party privacy to invite only, you're going to get this tab right here in your chat. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in Necramech in the Foundry again, and then we can go ahead and we can start listing the things that we need in this chat. You can see that I actually went ahead and field type in Devolved Namelon and accidentally linked a cosmetic pack. So just do a square bracket and type in Devolved Namelon and just press enter, and then that's listed down, and then we can actually see this is blueprint sold by Otak in Necrolisk on Demos. So we got to go to Necrolisk and talk to Otak and get the blueprint. But we're going to do that for pretty much everything that we don't recognize. So Admiral Alloy, now I'm pretty sure we have the blueprint for that. So we just go ahead and we click, and you can see that it says blueprint owned. Basted Tiamtrite. We can go ahead, type that in, and we don't have the blueprint apparently. Tempered Batholite, we can type that in and double check. We do have the blueprint for that. If we hover over Parasitic Tefermaw here, so it says it's cut from Lobotricid fish via daughter in Necrolisk. So that is just a certain type of fish that we got to go and catch. So it says that the surface of the Cambion Drift during Vom. We got to get Biotic Filter as well. So this is cut from Aquapulmo and Uroid fish via daughter in Necrolisk. And that's found on the surface hotspots during Vom. The Aquapulmo fish is. And Uroids can be found in Cambion Drift cave hotspots during Fass and Vom. Purged Daganic is a mining resource, I'm pretty sure. So we just go ahead, we type that in. So we need to get the blueprint for that as well from Otak. And Purified Hisephron is also another mining resource as well. So we don't have the blueprint for that either. So we got to get all of those blueprints, and we got to go and get some of those fish. So we're going to go ahead and head over to Necrolisk here. So you might have noticed as well that we need to go ahead and get damage parts of Necramechs to actually build our Necramech. And you can pick up those damage parts here from Favor by spending 2,000 stand in a time. The other thing we can do is we can go ahead and we can jump into isolation vaults, and isolation vaults are going to allow us to actually just farm up those parts instead of spending the stand-in. So it's really down to you what you want to do. But if we head over to OTAC here, we can go ahead and we can buy the blueprints that we need. So I'm just going to recommend that you go ahead and pick all of these up because you're eventually going to need to have all of these mining resources anyway. What I'm going to recommend you guys go ahead and do is head over to your dojo. I just pause the game, press fast travel, Tenno Lab. And we're going to type in LOC and we're going to buy Lockpin Research. So just go ahead and replicate the blueprint for this. Now go back to your orbiter, head down to your foundry, type in LOC pin like this, Lockpin, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to craft 3 of these. Once you've crafted 3 of them, come to your gear wheel, just go ahead, type in Lockpin and equip them. Also, I went ahead and I claimed my Arcwing launcher segment, and what that does is it adds the Arcwing launcher to here, so you can go ahead and craft this. It's going to take 30 minutes, and that's going to allow us to put our Arcwing into our gear wheel to use it in open worlds. It's just going to allow for better traversal. You got to build the Arcwing launcher segment, and then you got to build the Arcwing launcher. So I'm going to go ahead and swap to Vault, and this is the current build that I'm running on Vault. This is an Arcane, which I got from completing my circuit for the week. Don't worry about this, like, literally at all. And then I'm also going to go back to using my Saurus instead of the Skyajati, and this is the build that I've been rocking on that. The rest, you can pretty much use whatever you want. So I want you guys to come back into Necralisk, then just go ahead and head out into the Cambion Drift. Now I want you guys to take a close look at where I'm standing on the map here. So near this place, Uldaladum, you can see this is a little teleporter, and this is basically a person that we can interact with here, right? So if you go ahead and you interact with Mother here, you can see that you can start a mission called Isolation Vault Tier 1. So what we're going to go ahead and do as we're standing here is we're going to drop the lock pin here, and we're going to call this ISO Vault 1. You can go ahead and attach any symbol to it that you want. I'm just going to go ahead and put this like sword and gun because why not? I like to go ahead and show it in HUD, and you can set any color to it that you want. So I'm going to put it to yellow because I don't know. I just went ahead and confirmed it, and as you can see, all that does is it puts a little waypoint for you so you know where you can find this. So this is ISO Vault 1. So if we go ahead and we activate this, it's going to allow us to do the Tier 1 of the Isolation Vault. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. So Isolation Vaults are basically just unique bounty missions that give you unique rewards. And this is going to force you to go and get some worm bait, so some of the FAS or Vom residue. So we're just going to go ahead and pick some of this up from the yellow circles on the map. And this is also just going to familiarize you with, you know, where the Vom and the FAS residue spawns, which is going to make fishing a lot easier. Once you've picked up all the bait, just come back to, you know, where you put that little lock pin, and you want to put all the bait into this machine. And now we just have to defend this for a minute and a half. I forgot to mention, you can also do this mission like publicly, right? So you can get random players to join you because it is simply just a bounty mission. So if you just go ahead and set your party privacy to public before you start the bounty, you can start this from inside of Necralisk, so you can do that there. Once the defense is done, come and pick up the mixture from the machine, and you want to go ahead and take that down into this cave. Just go ahead and throw it at this big hole here, and that's going to open it up. You can just go ahead and jump through it. Now down in this room, you just want to go ahead and kill as many enemies as fast as possible. If you're playing this in a group and somebody's just like murdering everything, you could go ahead and whip out your mining tool here and mine some resources. So implying you kill enough enemies to survive and you let the timer run out, you're going to be able to go deeper into the cave here. And you're going to come into the Intradi ruins. So just keep on following the objective marker. And what's going to happen is you're going to find a Necramech. Just go ahead and throw your Zorus at it, and that's going to drop an Orican orientation matrix and potentially a part or a damaged Necramech part. So that's just going to save you from spending the stand-in on the Necramech parts. Now it says there, bonus, activate the reactive crystal at the vault. So this is the vault right here, and this is the reactive crystal. Just keep on running around the cave until you find it. So what you want to do is you just want to jump down here, jump into your operator, shoot the crystal, and it's going to spawn in Mr. Lloyd. Now we have to defend him, and the reason that I specifically chose Vault for this is because we can use our speed ability to speed him up, because he is quite slow. He's got to go and turn on 4 generators, and we just have to keep him alive as he's doing so. So here's the first generator that he's turning on. Again, if you're doing this part and your teammates have literally got everything covered, you can go ahead and do some mining. So implying you successfully cover him, what's going to happen is you're going to get the little thing where it's like asking you to, you know, memorize the stuff. So it's Kra, Jahu, Riss, and Fast for me. Riss and Fast, I remember that. That's going to open up this door, and then you can go ahead and you can destroy everything in here, and that's going to give you a bunch of the resources that you need to go ahead and craft the Necramech. So you can see that we got Daganic, we got the Biotic Filter, we got the Spinal Core, we got Tiam, whatever the hell this is called. We got a tiny bit of Mother tokens, so we got a bunch of stuff. So now all we have to do is we just have to go to the extraction here. And then we jump into this thing. It's going to eat us up, and it's going to spit us out back on the surface of the Cambion Drift. So because we completed the Tier 1 Isolation Vault, that actually unlocks the Tier 2 Isolation Vault. Now again, I want you guys to pay close attention to where I am on the map here. So look, Catabolic Gutter, and then off to the left, you have this little symbol here. We're going to go ahead and we're going to place down the second lock pin here. And we're just going to name this one ISO Vault 2. I'm just going to go ahead and keep everything the same. So the exact same yellow color and same symbol. And I press confirm. And now ISO Vault 2 is marked on my minimap. So if I talk to Mother here, I can go ahead and start the second tier. And I basically just get like different rewards and more stuff from doing the second version. But it is higher level. So if you struggle in the first one, so say for example, your Lloyd almost died, you maybe don't want to do this, and instead you want to go focus on like upgrading your equipment and stuff like that. So I'm not going to do this right now simply because I did struggle in the first one. My Lloyd almost died, but I'm confident that if I was with a squad of people, I would be able to do this. Like I'd be able to take part and actually have an impact. So in public, I would definitely just continue and do the second one, but here solo, I'm going to stick to just doing the first one. But we're not done yet. We're going to go ahead and we're going to mark the third Isolation Vault, and that is over towards the Abscess. And as you can see here, over at the Abscess, we have Isolation Vault Tier 3, levels 50 to 60. And again, pay close attention to where I am on the minimap, so just down to the bottom right of the Abscess here. Go ahead and place your lock pin, ISO Vault 3, same symbol, show on HUD, same yellow color, confirm, and done. So basically, what you're going to do is you're going to come into the Cambion Drift, do ISO Vault 1, then do ISO Vault 2, then do ISO Vault 3. And that way, you're going to get a ton of resources and parts and stuff for crafting your Necramech. But I recommend starting your first ISO Vault from Necrolisk here. So go talk to Mother, press Bounties, and then just press on ISO Vault 1. You can see that I can head straight into ISO Vault 2, by the way, as well, because we've got that unlocked now. So you don't have to do Tier 1 after you've completed it for the first time. You can jump straight into 2, but it just depends what you need, you know? Because there's a bunch of different rewards, so you can see the rewards change between each. So I would just keep on doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, just so you get like a wide variety of stuff. So I seem to have a team that can handle this second Isolation Vault, like this little area. So I'm going to take this opportunity to just keep on mining resources, man, because I need those mining resources. So just turn your brain off. Like, don't hope to get the exact things that you need. Just keep on mindlessly mining. Trust me, everything that you get is gonna have a use for something, so don't be too disappointed if you don't get the exact thing that you need to build a Necramech. You're still making progress towards doing something else while you're doing this. You're just kind of like passively doing this in the background. And don't worry too much about like coming across as if you're leeching because you're not killing any of the enemies. Like, people are strong enough in Warframe that they really don't need your help to complete bounty objectives. Like, yeah, it might not seem that way because like you're a new player and you're kind of weak right now, but trust me, like if somebody is like MR20 or Legendary Rank 2 like they are in my lobby, well, they should be able to handle this no problem. And if they don't, like, that's just a genuine skill issue. Alright, so my team got us access down into the ruins here. And what's going to happen in the tier 2 vault is instead of one Necramech spawning in, there's going to be 2. Just make sure to actually like run over where the Necramech dies. Like nice teammates will go ahead and mark where the Necramech died. Or you can simply just pay attention to where the red markers are. Now, hopefully, because these guys are relatively high mastery rank, they know about, you know, the little crystal. So you just want to keep on running around until you find it. So in this vault, it's in this big room here and down this little path here. So apparently my high mastery rank teammates don't know about this, but we're just going to go ahead, shoot it, and we're going to make Lloyd go fast. They maybe know about it, they maybe just don't know how to activate it, which is a little bit sad, to be honest, saying we're learning about it 7 episodes into a beginner guide. Netra, Zada, Boom, and Lock. Okay, so we've activated that one, and you can go ahead, you can destroy everything, and you can get a bunch of stuff. Now, the connection to my host was actually lost, so it ended up just dumping me back into Necrolisk here, but if I wanted to start a tier 3 bounty, I would be able to do that now. And I am actually going to go ahead and do it. But one thing that I want to check is I actually got a really good mod for melee weapons from there, and I just want to make sure that I kept it. I did. So I got Condition Overload, and this is a really good melee mod for just dealing more damage, because the more status effects you put on an enemy, the more damage you're going to deal. So just keep your eyes peeled for rare mods when you're doing these isolation vaults in case you happen to come across this. I think you can even get it just from doing the Deimos bounties as well, because it's an enemy drop. I'm not going to go ahead and throw it on right now because I haven't got like a sustainable way to constantly proc different status effects, but just keep that mod in mind for future because it is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and do a tier 3 isolation vault now. Here's another thing. If your teammates are like competent enough whenever you're doing the first stage of the isolation vault or even bounties, go ahead and bring out your little hunting gear, your tranq rifle, and just aim down sights and look around. You want to just be looking around for animals that are around and, you know, just hunt and collect them, because you're going to need the tags to get sun tokens and stuff like that to rank up. Now, I think this lobby is a little bit laggy, so I don't think the animals are going to get picked up by my little tranq rifle. Usually what would happen is it would beep similar to a codex scanner. It go beep, beep, and then the animals would be like marked through the walls with an orange outline. It didn't happen for that little velocipod that I just captured, but it's just a tip. Like, you can do this in any of the open worlds. You can go around and you know, capture some animals, because in the Plains of Eidolon and in Fortuna, if you hunt some animals, you're going to get additional standing. But here in Deimos, you get the tag. So if we pick this guy up, we can see that we get a Pharaoh Predicite tag. And we're going to need that for stuff later on, sometimes even for crafting. We're back in the toxic tunnels, and remember, if you feel like you have competent teammates that are, you know, keeping things under control and actually progressing the objective, you should take this opportunity to mine. But this time around, I don't feel like my teammates are really doing too much, so I'm actually going to go ahead and kill the enemies myself. Now, in Isovault Tier 3, there's going to be 3 Necramechs instead of 2. You just go ahead, throw your Azorus at him, and he'll die. We actually got Scintillant as well. Now, that's a pretty rare resource that we're going to need for some things. Here's our second Necramech, Azorus. Boom, boom, boom. He's dead. The final Necramech. Boom, and he's dead. So now we want to run around and look for that little crystal that we got to shoot again. And here it is down this way. So just to give you guys an idea of where you gotta look. So this is what my area looks like here. So there's some stairs on either side. Then down this path. You can take a look at the map as well. Go ahead, shoot the crystal again. Spawn in Lloyd and cast speed. So if we come back to my foundry here, you can see that I've got some of the damaged Necramech casings, and I've also got some of the damaged Necramech weapon pods for totally free without having to spend standing. On top of that, I've also got some of the spinal core sections and the parasitic tether maw without having to fish. But I need to go ahead and craft some of this feasted tiametrite. So if you come over to the miscellaneous tab, your Necramech and all of its parts are in this tab, and then the mining tab is right beside it, just to make it easier for you to sort of like swap between the two and see what you need. So I was making my way towards building the Void Rig casing, and I've got the last bit of this stuff ready to claim now. So I just need to get 60 Adrenal alloy, then I'm able to craft this. And what you'll notice is all of this stuff takes 12 hours each to craft, so the sooner we get it crafting, the better. But I need to make some of this purged dragonic. I've got 40, so I can make 40. I need 30, so I need to hit this button 3 times. I can make some devolved namalon. One of the more annoying ones to craft is the Adrenal alloy here, so it says that I can get the Adramalium from the Cambion Drift from yellow mining lesions. And then Traveride actually comes from the Orb Valis, so Fortuna from red mining veins. I gotta get more Hesefron, so I can get that from Cambion Drift from blue mining lesions as well. And also, I need to go to the Plains of Eidolon and look for red mining veins and maybe thumpers to get Pyrol, so I can craft the Tempered Batholite. Because I got a lot of Batholite just from playing around in Deimos, but I have no Pyrol. Now I need to go and get more Namalon from Deimos because I just need more. So now I've got enough Purged Daganic for the Void Rig weapon pod. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to keep on running those isolation vaults so I can get the different parts for my Necramech. So I need a damaged Necramech pod. I need a damaged Necramech engine, and that's pretty much all I need. While doing that, I expect to get more of the spinal core sections, so I won't need to do additional fishing for that. And then I'm going to mine as much as I can during the cave stages, so I can, craft more of the devolved namalon, potentially craft more tempered batholite, because I need some of that, and get the stuff for the Adrenal alloy and the purified Hesifron. So I'm just going to keep on doing those isolation vaults until I have all of the parts for my Necramech. Then after I've got, the damaged Necramech pod and the damaged Necramech engine, I'm going to swap from doing the isolation vaults then to doing bounties so I can get more mother tokens. And then to get the additional stuff, so for example, you guys remember I need Pyrol as well. Well, I'm just going to do mining while I am doing Plains of Eidolon bounties. And it's the same for the Traveride, right? I'm just going to do mining as I'm doing the Fortuna bounties. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that, and then, I'll jump back whenever I've got everything. No, your eyes do not deceive you. My Necramech is, in fact, ready to claim already, and that's simply because I started recording this episode before Christmas happened, but Christmas has now happened, so my Void Rig is, in fact, ready. But I'm going to treat the next few episodes as if my Void Rig isn't ready to claim, so the next 3 episodes is basically going to be like doing a bunch of stuff that is not related to the new war quest. And it's going to be about doing stuff that will further prepare you for the new war to make it as easy as possible. It's not that difficult, but we're just going to make it a little bit easier, and we're going to flush out our inventory a little bit more, get a lot more resources, a lot more warframes, a lot more weapons, higher mastery, stuff like that. So that's going to be it for this episode. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, hit subscribe for more Warframe content, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.